And a lot of us live in Idaho for the quality of life, the access to the outdoors, and greater freedom. And for many, that freedom comes in the form of being able to carry and shoot guns. But people who live near a planned shooting range in Avimor feel that freedom infringes on their quality of life and threatens people's safety. A month ago, we told you about a different shooting range proposed in the foothills near Eagle. Well, this one is farther north and further along, but sparking similar backlash. Here's 7 Investigates' Morgan Romero.
What draws someone to put down roots here?
I've lived out here in this specific area about 24 years.
The wildlife.
I love the peace and quiet.
The open space.
It's lovely.
Freedom, bliss, especially on beautiful days.
The ability to build a better life for your family.
Our whole family moved here. Actually, this is going to be a family compound.
The Haskins moved to the Summit Ridge area in Horseshoe Bend a couple years ago.
To get away from the mess.
To escape California's regulations and year-round fire seasons. But Ryan Haskins fears fire in his backyard again from a shooting range planned less than 1.5 miles from his home on Pearl Road in Boise County.
It just raises nothing but red flags to me.
Haskins, a former wildland firefighter, and his neighbors fear people firing in the Crowfoot shooting range could set a spark in Idaho's fire-prone high desert.
The fuels up here, the elevation when you jump up over 4,000 feet was introducing low humidity and low humidity recovery at night. The prevailing winds coming off that range are coming out of south-southeast, and it's going to push it straight towards us.
I don't mind a gun range. I am pro-gun.
But Horseshoe Bend's Fire Chief Jeff Johnson is not pro-Crowfoot. He doesn't feel the group, mostly people who live in Avimor, has solid plans to make it safe.
It's perfect for wildfire. You can take just about any round and you can shoot a rock with it and it could potentially cause a spark.
Boise County Planning and Zoning approved Crowfoot Range nonprofit's conditional use permit. The range would go in over this ridge on Pearl Road on 40 acres of donated Avimor property, historically a popular place for illegal shooting.
We spent an entire summer researching Avimor's development plans, and this particular property is the safest. It's the farthest away from homes, and Avimor's willing to lease it to us.
Eventually, Avimor managing partner Dan Richter plans to build homes close by, closer than the Summit Ridge neighbors.
And then you look at all of the cartridges, and they leave all of this brass laying around.
Part of the driving force behind this plan, 4 years in the making.
But look at here, all kinds of hypodermic needles, all of the trash.
The desire to control trespassing, trash, and target shooting on their land along Pearl, west of 55.
And the problem was not so much the shooting, although we wanted to keep the shooting in safe places, was all the garbage they left behind. Because when you get people all along this road shooting into rocks and stuff, then there is a real significant fire danger.
Because Avimor is in its coverage area, Eagle Fire District laid out fire mitigation conditions Crowfoot has to meet. Other agencies put requirements on them too. No metal targets, except in the long range, structures above the bays, fire line dug around the property, a fence, road improvements, and mostly crushed rock ground instead of brush.
There will be no vegetation. It's a rock range. So there's not going to be fire within our property.
Along with creating an organized place to shoot, Crowfoot president and Avimor resident Bill Godfrey and his friends also wanted to develop a place for 4-H kids to train.
Eagle 4-H, their president wanted a closer area that they could train their kids for hunter safety and gun safety and that type of thing.
Godfrey says there will be 71 parking spaces and 47 shooting lanes in 4 bays. With a membership, the public can use it an hour after dawn to an hour before dusk, or 8 to 6.
That meadow is generally where the range is sitting, okay? Pointing this direction. Our long range shoots towards that hill.
Crowfoot will build berms between their bays and muzzles will be aimed away from Horseshoe Bend. But people will be shooting towards these hills and towards Highway 55.
We get somebody that's deciding they're going to lay down prone and shoot. As they're laying down, they could bump it and it's up and over that hill and now it's on 55.
Crowfoot can't build a berm tall enough to completely block Pearl Road, basically parallel to the long range. Planning and zoning isn't requiring them to have a range master to oversee any shooting.
What's the difference in that and shooting on the side of the road? So all you're doing is just attracting more people, more of a problem.
An organized range polices itself. Members have a vested interest.
Godfrey says he'll serve as range master when he retires. And when they get more members, they'll talk about hiring one.
I'm very frustrated.
Disturbing their bliss. Neighbors also worry about all the noise this shooting range will bring.
I can hear the shooting on Pearl Road very clearly at my house.
Sound studies found people who live over the ridge, even a couple miles away over a couple ridges, will hear gunshots.
There's a lot of things that I think are lacking at this point.
Johnson also expects more accidents from dozens more cars taking this turn on high-speed Highway 55. So, neighbors filed an appeal, which Boise County commissioners will hear soon.
It's more than just, I don't want a shooting range. It has real economic impact.
Godfrey says they cannot afford to push dirt here until that hearing.
We've mitigated our hours, we've mitigated our days, we've done everything we can do, but we are going to try and do everything we can to be good neighbors, number one. And number two, we're going to meet the requirements that Boise County puts on us.
Good neighbors or not, people living nearby just don't want them moving in.
There's also a clay shooting range down the road from Crowfoot Range, that is. Morgan could hear shots from the Haskins house all afternoon while she was out there this week. And people who live in Avimor can currently shoot in a small gravel pit, but Avimor is closing it because, well, they need the land for more homes. Richter says none of the neighbors in Avimor complain about the noise.
From